Idelmar Paisan takes on Roger Mayweather now. Mayweather looking to a championship fight he hopes after this. This is a championship fight of sorts for 12 rounds. What do these two bring to the dance? Al Bernstein tells us all about it.
Roger Mayweather has held world titles in 2 different weight categories and fought the best in 3 divisions, and he wants another title shot. His super lightweight title defense against Harold Brazier was a classic. He solved Brazier's excellent defense enough time to carve out a hard-fought split decision. After losing that title to Julio Cesar Chavez in this return against Joe Rivera, it was vintage Mayweather. The right hand, always a Mayweather calling card, did Rivera in and put Roger back on the track. He was supposed to fight Rodolfo Aguilar tonight, but Rodolfo pulled out and Idelmar Paisan pulled in. Remember Paisan against #1 rated Tracy Spann? He rallied in the middle and late rounds to make it very close, but Spann barely escaped the upset. The question is, will Roger Mayweather be able to do the same tonight?
All right, Al, take us through the die-hard keys to victory.
For Mayweather, the right hand always important, and don't get complacent. He cannot look past this man. Any loss would sidetrack him badly. Paisan got to get inside that terrific Mayweather jab and work the body. It's traditionally been what has done well against Mayweather.
One thing I really did think in our conversations this morning, and that is that he will not look by Idelmar Paisan. Paisan's going to have to win it. Mayweather's not going to lose it. Let's meet them now with Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission and the World Boxing Association. The supervisor at ringside for the WBA is Fred H. Lamson. The 3 judges assigned to this bout are Cindy Barton, Chuck Jampa, and Art Laurie. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Bally's Casino Resort here in Las Vegas, Nevada, let's get ready to rumble. 12 rounds for the WBA America's Super Lightweight Championship. The referee for this contest is Carlos Padilla. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the red trunks with white trim and weighs an even 138 pounds from Caracas, Venezuela. Has a professional and excellent record of 26 victories, 15 by KO, only 7 defeats and 2 draws. Ladies and gentlemen, Idelmar Paisan. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with gold letters. He weighs an even 140 pounds, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He brings an outstanding professional record of 35 victories, 24 by KO, against 6 defeats. He's a former 2-time world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, the Black Mamba, Roger Mayweather.
Okay, Mayweather, Paisan, you were already given instructions in the respective dressing room. Any question? Okay, seconds come up, fight.
So there's a look at Roger Mayweather, and Mayweather's a no-nonsense guy. And as you mentioned, that loss to Freddie Pendleton really turned him around. We'll talk some more about that. Meanwhile, in the other corner, Idelmar Paisan, who really fought Tracy Spann pretty tough. If he could come back to that fight and not the one after it, then he may be in good shape.
Yeah, that was a superb performance. But then after that, he fought Daryl Tyson, and Tyson really took him to school, won a decision, and it was a fairly close fight. But I'll tell you what, I thought that Daryl Tyson dominated enough to make you wonder if Paisan should be back this quickly in the ring.
His theory is, I didn't get hurt, I wasn't in any kind of real trouble, and so why not get back in the gym and come right back at it when I get the chance. He got the chance, and here he is.
And his feeling is that a win over Mayweather would be so huge for his career. Now, one thing, Mayweather is getting ready for Rodolfo Aguilar, who's a left-hander, but you see already, as that's just a slip by Mayweather, Paisan switched to lefty. He will switch during the course of this fight, so I kidded Roger today. I said, well, all that work with the lefty wasn't in vain.
Yeah, he said that he took a videotape and went in and took a good look at it. A lot of fighters tell us, I'm not interested in the opponent. I'm going to worry about myself. But Roger Mayweather said, no, I want to see what this guy's all about. I want to see what I have to deal with.
Do you know what I think? I think most times that's just telling us they didn't get to see a video, and so they're rationalizing it to themselves. Because in boxing, so often you don't get to see your opponent for whatever reasons. So you just rationalize and say, well, it's not going to bother me. I see no reason why they wouldn't want to know.
Paisan, on the other hand, says, I'll see what he's got when he gets in there, and I'll deal with it. He says, I can usually size a guy up pretty quickly, so we'll see.
Roger Mayweather is the Tommy Hearns of his division. Emanuel Stewart once said about Tommy Hearns, he's like Elvis Presley. He's the most exciting boxer around. If he wins or he loses, it's going to be exciting. And that's the way it is with Roger Mayweather, too. And how many times have people written Mayweather off? There's lost to Whitaker. They wrote him off after the loss to Pendleton. Lost to Julio Cesar Chavez. Look, he hurt Paisan with that right hand.
Very good right hand, too. Cut Paisan right on the side of the head.
I'm surprised Roger didn't jump on him a little bit more.
Another right hand, but that one.
Boy, how many times have we seen in boxing the jab and straight right hand of Mayweather come flashing at an opponent and land like that?
And it really is quick, too.
Saw Paisan beginning to switch to the left-handed stance. On the outside, Paisan will simply not win this bout. He's going to have to get inside a little bit.
And that's easier said than done, is it not?
Against the Mayweather jab and the straight right, you see, that's why it's so hard. There you are. You walk into those counter right hands like that.
Mayweather coming up on a birthday will be 29 years old on the 24th of this month and feels he's still got a lot of boxing left in him, and he's probably right.
Idelmar Paisan is going to have to change the tenor of this fight. He's going to have to somehow get Roger Mayweather out of his rhythm. If you don't do that to Mayweather, you lose. It's that simple. Unless you're such a master boxer. Pernell Whitaker was able to beat him a lot with boxing from the outside, but he's just superb.
He says he now wants Juan Koji, and he would like to fight him here in the United States if he can, and that also may be easier said than done because Koji has the cards right now.
Those fights over in Europe are tough for opponents of Koji. The man that Harold Brazier's challenged unsuccessfully against Koji. He's the man that in 1988 waged a terrific war with Roger Mayweather. Of course, Harold, a familiar name during our 10 years on Top Rank Boxing.
Yeah, he's been around for just about the run of it, hasn't he?
Boy, he has, and we watched him develop into a contender. And
another one of the nice guys, too. You heard Bob Arum earlier talk about, as we take a look at our...
Look at those numbers, 2 out of 19.
It's
wow.
Not too good on in either department, really. You heard Bob Arum talk about the great athletes that he's dealt with, the fighters. And I'll tell you, I just think the world of boxers as a group of athletes, the most sensitive, kindest, least violent.
People probably are listening to you saying, now, what's he talking about?
Absolutely
It's
true.
absolutely a fact, and Harold Brazier epitomizes that. One of the nicest human beings around, and I respect him as much as any boxer.
Roger Mayweather also falls into that category.
Because you know why? They ply their craft. They do it regularly. The only long layoff he's ever had was after that Chavez fight in '89, and then came back in February of '90 and looked great doing it. He deserved to, once in your career you can have a layoff. Now, Idelmar Paisan has not gotten inside that jab at all of Mayweather.
As a matter of fact, Mayweather just holding him off with the left hand a moment ago and not even throwing the jab, and still Paisan couldn't get around it.
Now, we should point out that early in his fight against Spann, Paisan had lots of problems with Tracy, but was able to come on in later rounds. And, in fact, Roger Mayweather has had a history at various times of not being in the greatest shape and tiring. We mentioned that Pendleton fight back in March of '86 when he tired in the 6th round and Pendleton knocked him out. So, and that's what happened to Spann a little bit, though Paisan didn't win.
Through the first two rounds, Mayweather has not had to do very much.
Hasn't been pressed, that's for sure.
Paisan gets inside for one of the first times. And Mayweather goes right back to work with the jab. So the second round, and the problems for Idelmar Paisan very much as they were in the first 3 minutes. Get inside, and he can't. Round number 3, Roger Mayweather in the black trunks, Idelmar Paisan in the red, the billboard trunks, actually. Got a little advertising on them. It's the number of jabs through the 3rd round, and that's exactly as we indicated, that Paisan just not being able to do anything.
Mayweather has landed as many jabs as Paisan has thrown.
Paisan has landed 5 punches. Well, I shouldn't say that. There were 2 in the first round and 3 jabs in the second round. I don't know how many total.
Probably not too much. You can feel Mayweather looking for that right hand.
No holding, okay? Clean boxing, okay? Okay.
Carlos Padilla saying no holding, clean boxing, and saying it to a man who speaks no English.
Good point.
Right hand on Mayweather.
Roger missing with that right. He is finding the range. And you say to yourself, well, you know, if Roger Mayweather is primarily a right-handed puncher, why is it so hard to get away from that right? It's because it's so quick.
The other thing I really like that he does, he gets it back quickly, too. It's hard to counter over that, I would think.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And the other thing is that Mayweather has a better left hook than people give him credit for. There's 2 boxers in this world. I mentioned Tommy Hearns earlier. Good right again by Mayweather.
And Paisan holding.
He may get a point deducted pretty soon. Tommy Hearns is underrated in terms of his left hook, and so is Roger Mayweather. That's because they do so well with their right hand.
Miguel Diaz, in the corner of Roger Mayweather between the last 2 rounds, was urging him to go get him out of there. He said, you can do it. Paisan really starting to become frustrated, I would imagine, at not being able to get inside the jab at all of Roger Mayweather.
As you said, it is not an easy task. Mayweather thinking, maybe I can come to make this guy come to me and I'll counterpunch him, but Paisan having none of it.
Quick right hand again. And again, Carlos Padilla warning Paisan about holding. And that time, Padilla telling Mayweather not to hold.
He's really getting quick on the trigger finger. Mayweather hardly held it all there.
So a round that probably falls into the category of workmanlike for this man.
On this guy.
Move too much. Okay, I'll take my time. Okay. Cut the ring. I told you, cut the ring. He's moving too much. Cut the ring. Yeah. Cut the ring. Make a lateral move. Okay? But you gotta come out with a move. You gotta come in.
But you look at this. You're just looking to hit him with the right hand, though. You got to put your punches together.
Come back with the left hook. When you come out with that right hand.
We're talking about the fact that Paisan was holding. Watch this.
Oh, no. That's unorthodox. But the only danger to there is, yeah, you get hit with the right hand. I knew that was coming, even though they didn't tell me.
That was kind of sort of half a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
That's what you get, though. If you grab the guy's left hand, I'd say you're asking to get hit with the right hand.
Especially if you grab it with both hands.
Yeah, really. It's kind of a roundtable discussion in Roger Mayweather's corner between Billy Baxter, Miguel Diaz, and Roger. That's one of the more, there's like a little mini discussion there.
It was, yes. Diaz was talking to Roger, and Roger was talking to Billy Baxter.
And even the referee, Carlos Padilla, stepped in to have a word or two.
He was talking to Beto Martinez.
Who was talking to an official.
That's right.
And so it goes.
A never-ending circle.
Things heating up a bit here. I want to take a moment for a personal note. You mentioned that I've worked with many people over the course of these years. I want to say none have I enjoyed more than you, Barry. The last couple of years have been a real treat, a real joy to me, and I say that with every degree of sincerity I can muster. It's been a lot of fun.
I really do appreciate it, and I share that.
And I would add also, as I know you would, for our crew, our producer Tony Dennis, directors Gary Clem and Mike Weld, Punch Profile, Bob Kenobi and Logan Hobson, and Dave Von Temple who joins us. It's a good crew to work with.
It really is. It's, as we mentioned, this is a real road show, and everybody becomes family. And without believing the point too much, pretty nice family.
It is indeed. And for tonight, I want to give a special thanks to Tony Rome, who wrote the music and lyrics for that ESPN Anniversary Blues, and Ken Dennis, who put the pictures together.
Meanwhile, Roger Mayweather doing just about anything he wants right at the moment with Idelmar Paisan. Another good right hand.
Landing, yeah, landing the right almost at will now. And once he gets the range with that right hand, I'll tell you, it's a tough man to deal with.
The swelling on the cheek under the left eye of Idelmar Paisan. Mayweather not wasting any punches.
Don't hold your hip, okay?
And again, Cordelia warning Mayweather for holding behind the head.
Paisan has done nothing offensively. I mean, this is not the Paisan that we saw against Tracy Spann. I mean, he was maybe cautious at the beginning, but came on. Now, part of it is he's fighting at a higher weight. Junior welterweight, a little bit higher. He likes to be a lightweight. It's not that big a difference, but enough. And he might be a little psyched out knowing he's facing this big puncher in Roger Mayweather.
I'm always amazed at how many fighters take a fight on short notice and then really can't perform up to expectations. It seems to happen all the time, and it seems to follow suit.
Much better than coming back to the body. Even fake the right hand. Even fake the right hand. I'm feeling on the back.
And here's what Roger Mayweather has done, and that is to say everything.
Yeah, he's just taking control.
Roger Mayweather continuing to pretty much do what he wants and dictate the tempo of this fight entirely.
Well, and you know what? Idelmar Paisan is just going to have to make something happen here because it's just going to be more of same, and Roger will either knock him out or just grind out a decision win.
There's no secret on your card.
Shutout, complete shutout for Roger Mayweather. And I jinxed Rick Sutcliffe. I said he'd be pitching shutouts last week. He got injured.
That's right. See that? Good left hand there by Mayweather.
And that might be what he might bring to the mix that would help him really get Paisan out of there if Roger can get those left hooks in.
Paisan not the easiest guy in the world to knock out. He has been knocked out a couple of times, but they were early in his career and has not been knocked out since 1981.
And he's been in there against some good punchers. Tyson and Spann recently. Jimmy Paul, the very fine lightweight champion, who was a very good puncher. So those are guys that could take you out, and they didn't.
And again, Paisan holding. And Carlos Padilla talking to him, and Idelmar not understanding.
Still not understanding.
Yes, he still does not speak English. Although he does have a Berlitz book in the corner.
Wouldn't it be funny if one of these fighters had one of those computers, those language computers? They could pull it out.
A translator.
Depending on what country they're in.
There's a good right hand by Mayweather. Mayweather picking the tempo up a little bit here in this round.
Good.
Yes, that's right.
Good idea, Roger.
We're breaking records. We've talked about 18 sports already in the first 5 rounds. None of
more to come.
None of which was boxing.
Roger Mayweather, that little, look at it, snake move, like the Mamba. He lands the left hook.
Of course, his nickname, as you see on his belt there.
The Black Mamba. Snake.
I like that nickname.
That's a good nickname.
Yes.
And Keith McMurray should get rid of Sir Jabberwock.
Yes, that's right.
What a gutsy fight tonight. He is improving, but Sir Jabberwock should go.
Nickname Graveyard. Total punches in the 5th round, and Paisan continues.
This is getting embarrassing. I'll tell you, and I think we are probably going to be headed for a record amongst our. In fact, I'm looking back at Logan Hobson. His left hand isn't moving. He doesn't even have to be counting. He's probably doing Paisan. That's a guess.
He's doing this fight with his nose.
Which one's doing Paisan, Bob or Logan? Bob is doing Paisan. Well, then he should have his hands. He shouldn't have his hands moving. It's a bad fight when you turn around to look at the people that are counting the punches.
And don't miss anything.
Yeah, it's not right. Well, from Roger Mayweather's standpoint, I mean, if I was him, I wouldn't do much different because you don't want to take any crazy chances. He's landing enough shots to be ahead. His accuracy is pretty good, and looking for the one punch that he might put Paisan in trouble so he could go after him.
Yeah, I don't think there's any criticizing what Mayweather has done in this fight. He's doing exactly what he needs to do, what he has to do. And he's not looking badly at all. In fact, he's looking very good.
And the thing about it is that Paisan is not normally this kind of boxer. He's not usually a survivor. He's a guy that gets in there and does what he needs to do to try and win a bout. Something has, you know, as you say, the short notice, the fact that he's maybe stepping up in weight. He's never faced maybe a puncher exactly as powerful as Mayweather, although Span can hit. Whatever, all those factors seem to be turning him into a very tentative boxer.
That's very difficult for him in this fight. And again, Mayweather just simply not letting Paisan get inside. This is more what Mayweather is doing than what Paisan isn't.
Well, that's exactly it. And, you know, it's just, we have not seen Paisan on the inside at one time in this bout, really, other than maybe a clinch after they just came together, but he just hasn't been there.
So it continues for Roger Mayweather as he dominates Paisan, and the crowd reacting probably as it should.
What is making? He moves to your left hook. Hit him in the morning, come back to the top. It's very simple.
They're trying to tell Miguel, don't talk with your mouth full.
It's simple. Remember what we always say, the second shot? That's what it is, the second shot. Never mind the right hand. The second shot is what counts in this fight. Yeah, pick it up and then come up with body.
Hey, I'll tell you what, though, that's superb advice from Miguel Diaz. Really good advice from him.
I really like him a lot. You know, we talked about baseball, and you're going to see a lot of shutouts in baseball, but I never thought we'd see one in boxing.
2 out of 19 punches in round 6 for Paisan. He is careening toward a record. Has to be, since we've been using our punch profile.
Interesting, the course of just a week, we saw Andrew Maynard who threw more punches in a 12-round fight than any light heavyweight since the Punch Profile guys have been with us. Over 1,000 punches, and we might be seeing the opposite end of that tonight.
Very bad percentage landed and very few thrown by Paisan.
Shutout continues on your card. I would have to think there's almost no other way you could look at this fight.
Paisan hasn't even come close to winning a round. Yeah, there was one round that was maybe a little close, but not much.
A moment ago, you saw Paisan throw 4 punches, all of which were caught on the gloves of Roger Mayweather.
You know, people, tuning in that maybe didn't see the fight with Tracy Spann or didn't see him fight Tyson as I did live, and that fight was on another cable network also, so he got some exposure. They would think that Paisan is just some tomato can guy that wants to survive, but he's not. And let's see if he can pick up the pace. Not maybe it have been his strategy that he wanted to tire Mayweather out and make him do all the work. And we see Paisan is trying a lot harder in this round now.
Throwing more punches, not throwing them accurately, however.
He won everything.
That's right. It's
so hard to
That's
believe.
not bad. Okay. A low blow. Roger knew it as soon as he threw it.
See, at least Paisan now, though, is in a position where he can throw some of those punches inside the jab of Mayweather. See?
And this is where Paisan wants to fight.
Oh, he should have been there 4 rounds ago. I mean, that's easy for me to say outside the ring, but still. See, he can win this round. Paisan could win this round. Roger hasn't landed that many punches. Paisan's in a position to land a few. See that right hand? He's inside where Mayweather can really get leverage with the right hand.
Mayweather has foregone the jab for the moment. He's, as you said, he's just not throwing a lot of punches in this round.
I mean, Paisan has not hurt him, and a lot of those punches have been blocked, but some have gotten through. At least Paisan will have thrown more than 20 punches in this round.
So a better round for Idelmar Paisan. Was it enough to win? Well, we'll find that out at the end of things. But in the meantime, it's another round gone for Paisan.
Now, but he's just looking for the right hand. That's all he's looking for.
Mayweather just not throwing a lot of punches in the last round and at the start of this one.
Hasn't been as active.
And as you see in the 7th round, he threw only 50 punches and still landed more.
Yeah, very. Look at Paisan, almost 90 punches. There's the uppercut. What Roger Mayweather has to do is mix in some other things, and that's what Miguel Diaz was telling him. Don't just look for that right hand. That's not the punch probably that's going to get this guy out. You got to go with the left hook, the uppercut, then the right hand may be the 2nd or 3rd punch in that sequence that will do the work.
Roger Mayweather went back to his corner at the end of the last round, and I had the feeling he was sort of in pain, and I don't quite know what it was from.
Maybe his hand.
I saw him shake his right hand in the middle of the round. I don't know that that's a problem, but he hasn't been using it quite as much, I'll say that.
Good left hook downstairs by Mayweather. And he is certainly going to the left more. Whether it's born out of need because the right is hurt or what.
We'll keep an eye on how much he does throw that right hand.
Let go.
the original opponent, Rodolfo. Now, interestingly, I was going to point out that Paisan normally switches to lefty. He hasn't done so almost at all in this bout. And I'm sure there's a reason for that. But normally you see him switch around a little bit more. I'm surprised he hasn't, just to give Mayweather a different look. Well, there he does it
as advertised.
The minute I say it, unbelievable. I can't believe that for 6 rounds he didn't, 7 rounds he didn't do it. Well, now he's back. Mayweather just looking to unload the right and just not able to quite get that punch there. See, there's the hook, though, landing. See, when you put Mayweather punches in combinations, obviously much more effective. Hasn't been doing much of that in this fight.
There was the right hand, and that snapped the head back on Idelmar Paisan. So a very good punch by Mayweather. Paisan's still there, even though he's a little bit shaken.
Roger Mayweather, the jab, the straight right hand. That's his arsenal to a great extent, and that right hand landed very well.
He's been conservative with the right hand. It might be bothering him a little bit, although he did get there with that right hand that you mentioned.
You may have a point. I mean, you got to throw that punch sometimes, and it might still be hurting him. Mayweather at 29, and boy, doesn't it seem like he ought to be older, but he isn't. He's been so active. He's been around for a long, long time. Turned professional back in 1981.
Yeah, that's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, and his first big match, one that we had on ESPN, one that we chronicle on that show that we're going to have this Sunday at 8 p.m., 10 years and counting. Carlton Sparrow, Carlton Two-Gun Sparrow, big match in July of 82. Both were considered good up-and-comers. One would go one way, one the other. It was Mayweather who won that fight and moved on to become a world champion. But he's been around for a while.
And you still have the shutout.
What a shot. Yeah, Mayweather winning every round. Only the one round was close. But beyond that, he has just completely taken control.
This fight, remember, is scheduled for 12, not 10, because it is after fashion for a championship. One of those super-duper America's Continental, International, Saturn, Martian
Yeah.
belts.
I honestly don't know why it is absolutely necessary for boxing to create all those belts when if you have two good fighters fighting, it means something, because then they can move up and be wanting to fight for a world title. And I know, numerous letters will be passing my desk because of that, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. Mayweather's not throwing combinations. He just is not putting his punches together. He's winning. There's no question about that. And when you look at the fact that it took Tracy Spann, the #1 lightweight contender, a battle through hell to beat Paisan, you have to say it's very impressive. Roger Mayweather has hardly been hit, winning every round. But by the same token, it's not as crisp a performance as he had against Joe Rivera. But then Paisan's a slicker customer than Joe Rivera.
Well,
tougher man to hit.
Certainly has hit a point of putting it neutral for the last 2 or 3 rounds at least. Got out pretty quickly and was sharp with his jab and had a good quick right hand. But since then, he's just kind of coasted.
Well, and Paisan has shown no inclination to hurt him. And so Roger's been able to just do what he wants.
And he continues to do exactly what he wants in round 9. 3 rounds to go.
Por la izquierda ahí.
In the 9th round, Paisan threw more punches and hit Roger Mayweather with less.
And the as you look at that percentage, the one thing that Mayweather probably is heartened by is that with not too much difference, his accuracy level has stayed about the same and been fairly good, but he doesn't throw many punches. I mean, you pointed it out. It's not exactly dazzling us with the number of punches he's thrown. And we pointed it out during Joe Lasisi's fight, and it's incumbent upon us to point it out again. It's almost as if when you're a contender, you're on the campaign trail. And Roger Mayweather is campaigning for a shot against Juan Koji, and the better he does, the more marketable he becomes, and the more likely he is to get a title shot. And almost every performance is put under the microscope, and people are not just looking for wins, they're looking for impressive wins.
Start shaking hands and kissing babies.
That's right.
Right hand by Paisan.
The fact that he gave us a position paper at the weigh-in this morning also indicates he's got this campaign thing seriously.
Paisan now pursuing Mayweather. Mayweather looks tired, but Paisan now starting to get inside a little bit.
There's the right by Mayweather. It seems that he can land that when he wants to throw it. You may have been very prophetic early in this fight when you said in the middle rounds when you thought Mayweather's right hand was hurt, because he has not thrown it with as much conviction. And I assure you that'll be the first question if we get a chance to talk to him.
I just think something's bothering him. He came back and winced in pain. I don't know what it was.
By the way, we don't want to let the show pass without wishing the best to Irvin Rudd, who was recuperating from bypass surgery. The fine publicist with Top-Rank Boxing. Irvin's a wonderful man.
I want to be just like him when I'm his age. I'll tell you.
73 now, and one of the most intelligent, sweetest men you would ever want to talk to.
And a great storyteller.
He was a publicist for the old Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, these guys are going to need a PR man if they keep lulling us like this at this moment. Mayweather on the attack, though.
That'll hurt us. Paisan looking a little tired, too. There's a good right hand. Best shot of the fight by Mayweather. But Paisan gets through another one.
Barry Tompkins heralded this the best punch of the fight by Roger Mayweather. Who am I to argue with him? Excellent right hand by Mayweather.
It was in the top 5 anyway.
Well, close enough. We won't quibble.
Mayweather has a look as though he's going to be business in this round.
We're just holding Paisan off until he can get back to the right punching range and the right punching posture. Again, we mentioned it early. Paisan needed to be on the inside more often against Roger Mayweather. Hasn't been. Maybe in the middle rounds, found a couple of rounds where he wasn't too effective. And he's back now to just kind of hanging around outside and trying not to be hit.
And Mayweather working the jab a little bit more than he was, too. Came to the hook that time.
I jinxed him probably. I said that Roger Mayweather is hardly ever in a fight that's not exciting. Of course, he picked tonight to be in one.
That right hand hurt Paisan. And now Mayweather just kind of looks at him, sticks his tongue out. Paisan's hurt. And now Mayweather jumps on him.
Good work to the body, too, by Mayweather. See those left hooks to the body? They're really doing the damage.
Paisan is still hurt, and he's in danger of going down.
And Padilla will look at this fight very closely here now. Well, you said it. Mayweather came out to do some business this round, and boy, he is open for business. Jabs landing for Mayweather. When those jabs land, you know the right is not far behind.
You have to think that Carlos Padilla will not let this go too far if Paisan gets in any trouble.
Probably not, because he knows he's way behind, and if he doesn't fire back, I agree with you. Well, Roger had him in real difficulty, and Paisan has survived.
Yeah, he's got his legs back a little bit.
I saw Darrell Tyson in Atlantic City rock him 4 or 5 times, and he didn't go anywhere.
Starting to be quite a lot of swelling around the right eye of Paisan also, and that will give him nothing but problems.
No, Roger had his shot and pulled back after he couldn't get Paisan down, and I guess he figures he'll coast for this round and take another shot at it in the 12th.
So Mayweather a handy winner in this round too, and at the risk of being redundant, you might say that that's been the case in every round.
When the Roger Mayweather jab is on, as it is there, lots of punches flow behind it. And you'll see later on, here's the overhand right. That one stunned Paisan and sent him into a sequence where you see his legs are rocky there, where this man, Roger Mayweather, was able to rain punches on him but not knock him out.
So Paisan has never been knocked out in his career.
1 minute and then go for it.
And it is a career that'll span 35 fights. 12th and final round. No doubt about the outcome. The question is, will Paisan finish the fight on his feet?
Obviously, Paisan in a situation where he will need a knockout to win this bout. There's no way that he could be ahead in the scorecard.
Mayweather did a lot more in that 11th round. 65 punches. Still not a lot, but boy, look at the percentage.
He was very accurate, especially in that sequence when he got Paisan hurt. And isn't that what separates the really great fighters from the good fighters and the good fighters from the not so good fighters? When they have a shot at landing or taking a fighter out of there, even though Mayweather didn't take him out, it's how well you land. And we saw in Andrew Maynard last week, when he had Cedillo in some trouble, still a young learning fighter, couldn't put it all together to really get him out. And Cedillo, in fact, when he had Maynard in big trouble early in the bout, just couldn't be accurate enough to get him out.
Yeah, it really did. It went both ways in that fight. Finishers, something we've talked about so much over the course of the years. I know you've been talking about it for 10. I've been talking about it with you for 2.
And,
just some
and
guys,
elsewhere for
yes,
more.
That's right. Some guys who do it well and some guys who don't.
They told Mayweather, Billy Baxter's last words to him as he went out were, box for the first minute and then go after him.
To dictate everything in this fight. A fight that is best described as no contest.
You know, the punch that Mayweather has hurt him with as much as the right is the left hook. He's landed some very good left hooks, especially when he's gone down to the body. And I think Roger might have wished to go down there a little bit more, that left hook. Bolo punch action.
Toying with Paisan now. And Paisan holds again.
Well, really a bad performance by Paisan. Not like what we saw from him against Tracy Span. I still believe he was in too quickly after losing to Darrell Tyson. But I give him credit for, we all do, for withstanding in the 11th round what Mayweather threw at him.
so it's over. Although there's not a lot of suspense involved here.
Well, very workmanlike win for Roger Mayweather. He was conservative with his punches during most of the fight, but was pretty accurate, and had Paisan hurt 2 or 3 times, but he's a very tough guy to finish off, and Roger couldn't quite finish him.
Yeah, he did pretty much what he had to do. Can't question, I guess, anybody who wins a fight in a virtual shutout like Mayweather apparently has. We'll find out officially. That cut on the eye over Paisan's left eye incidentally happened in about the last 40 seconds of the fight.
This ought to be interesting. Yeah, look at the percentage and landed by Paisan is low, and the number he threw was pretty low. Roger Mayweather not that busy.
All right, let's see if it's a shutout. That's about the only suspense. Here's Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the official scoring, and the winner of this bout will receive the belt for the WBA America Super Lightweight Championship. The scoring as follows. Chuck Champa scores the bout 119 to 108. Cindy Barton scores at 120 to 107, and Art Laurie has it 118 to 109 for the winner by unanimous decision, the Black Mamba, Roger Mayweather.
Back with Roger Mayweather, who just carved out that tough win. You did hurt your hand, didn't you?
Yeah, I hurt my hand in the 5th round. I had him going in the 11th, but why I couldn't put him away because my hand was hurting too bad. But he almost got bit by the Black Mamba, but he escaped. But then maybe the next one won't get away.